Great to see everybody here with us today. And just a second, let me admit a few other people. Here we go. Um, so one of my favorite things to share with people is if you happen to be on Open Friday Coffee with me this morning, or if you happen to be listening to this later, you're not normal. I can tell you that right now. You are not a normal person. If you are attracted to anything that is in my message or whatever, you are not normal. Just embrace that, and I want you to start thriving. I want you to take that lunacy that is your business and the life that you have for yourself, and I want you to start thriving. That is my goal for you. So, how are we going to go about doing that? I have several articles on my website, JanineBoland.com. It finally is out of Google jail after 2.5 years of arguing with them. We will not go down that path as far as that story. Just leave it to say that if you were like, well, Janine, I didn't know you had a Janine Boland website. I'm like, of course you didn't. It was in Google jail. So now that it's out, uh, we will be posting a lot of the Open Friday coffee there. Now, we have Open Friday coffee almost every Friday, but I also want to share with you this. After this year, I'm slowly moving myself off of social media. I will only be communicating with people through my beta reader group. Why? Because I am not trying to attract thousands. I am not trying to have impact. I don't care how many followers I have. I care about the people who read my work. So I'm pulling everybody off of platforms. I have made a choice that I'm getting off of all subscription services of any kind. And I am moving everybody onto my learning platform. So beta readers are actually a course on my learning platform. And what I do is if you leave a comment there, I will talk to you. I will add it. If you have a question, I will do that if you can't make it to Open Friday Coffee. So I just wanted to let you know this is what I do. Also, for those of you who are listening to this video and you're like, Janine, you know, I can't show up to Open Friday Coffee. I have 3 times through the year where I only have a Zoom meeting just for my beta readers because you've taken the time to come onto that platform. So if you're not a part of it, ask me for the link. We'll make sure we get that to you. All right. That is what is happening at the end of this year. I will be moving off of social media. I am not going to be talking to people on it. I am going to focus on the people who read my stuff. Okay, here we go. The other thing is, this is my stuff. This is what I do. I'm a scientist, I'm a shaman, I'm also a sacred clown. I'm working on book number 5, Dancing with the Divine. We are currently in the middle of a 20-week journaling exercise where people are starting to move through that. Um, you can find it on the beta reader group. And the thing about being a beta reader, you get my ebook for free. You comment, you help me with it, you get my ebooks for free. The other thing I learned is that Amazon, when you buy a book, and it can be my book, if you buy a book and you download it to your Kindle as an ebook, Amazon says you are just renting it as of this year. Excuse me? They paid. I will mail you my book. If you have a Kindle and Amazon pulls my book off of your Kindle, let me know. I will mail you at cost my book because I want you to have access to my book. Oh my gosh, we were notified of that just recently. And it's not ownership anymore. I don't know if you understand what's happening in the digital space, but you no longer own certain things that are digital products. I'm sorry, you've paid good money. We will make sure you have the content that you're used to having on your Kindle. So I'm sorry, as an author, I'm getting a little pissy about how digital stuff is working, which is why I'm moving everybody off digital space. And you're like, I want you to be my people. And this is how I am protecting my people. Yes, Matt, please go ahead and unmute and talk to us.
Good morning, everybody. Just to give you some intriguing insight with what you just said, Janine, you are not the consumer, you are the product. And you got to sit there and line Jeff Bezos and his billions of dollars. So, like Shaka Khan, I feel for you.
Thank you very much. Yes, so as a author, this is why I had made this choice earlier, but I am now consistently getting confirmation that what used to be a very friendly space, what used to be a space that was very helpful to creatives, we've been watching things change. And what's happening in the bigger picture of things is that we're watching these platforms evolve into a way where they're serving only themselves. And I don't want to go into dark places. I'll let other people do that. But what I wanted to say is this is how it's affecting me as an author and the people I care about. You guys have spent money. By golly, we're going to make sure you get the product and the content that attracted you to me in the first place. So here you go. If you sign up for the beta reader group, this is what it looks like. It looks like a course. Hey, this is the only way I knew because I've already paid for this software. This platform is already mine, so to speak. So anyway, that's how you get on the beta reader group. Now, also on my website, you will find this thing, how do I get more clients? I am asked this so much that I finally just started addressing it in Open Friday Coffee. The video is on my website. You can go to my blog and you'll see it there. It starts with your master contact sheet. I am not going to mention this because I have a whole video on that. What are your next steps? If you haven't already, get my You're on Mute card. Why do I do this? Well, recently I went to Oregon, and when I travel, I send out cards to people that are in that space, and I say, hey, I'm going to be at XYZ coffee shop in Portland. Show up there. I got to meet two people that I have only seen from here up on Zoom for the last 3 years. It was a lovely meeting at that coffee shop. This is what it looks like. I say, hey, so and so, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be at this coffee shop. Do you want to join me? That's the kind of propaganda you're going to be receiving from me of, hey, I want to meet you in person. I'm going to be at this place. I know you live in the area. You are invited. Okay. Then I talk to you about the 4 hours a work week to nurture your business. Yeah, we'll go through this. So I was in Oregon with Kathy Hickey, and Kathy and I have been online for 3 years, I think it was. And so we kind of hung out. We were walking across suspension bridges and other type of bridges. Here is us in color when we were at a favorite coffee shop. And just by chance, we happened to wear the same plaid. It's kind of funny how things like that happen. You're not even trying, right? So anyway, this is what it looks like in color. This is where I was. This is one of my favorite shots. Does that look like the beginning of a horror movie or what? I mean, I was like, oh my gosh. My favorite part is see where everybody has swung across the arms. You can't see moss on that area. That's because the kids jump up and swing on the moss there, so it won't grow. Anyway, I just had to share this. I'm sorry.
I know why, Janine, because it's Armageddon.
Armageddon! Oh my God, I love you. Okay, this is what you're traveling the 3.5 miles on that trail to see. This is a waterfall. To give you some perspective, this is two people playing with a dog. You see that little white speck? There is a person standing there, with their children, and you can barely see them. That's how high up on the suspension bridge you are. You're walking across this chasm, and that's the beginning of it. So I'll stop with the tourist videos here in a minute, but this was an exciting experience for me, very inspiring. This amazing waterfall. Why? Because in Colorado we only get them in the spring. Okay, they're not year round. This is the Devil's punch bowl, and I kept trying to get pictures of where the water would come in and really churn as the devil's punch bowl. I couldn't get it. I wasn't that good of a photographer. Okay, I've written a few books, and what I'm going to talk to you about next is launch imperfectly. Stop waiting to be perfect. Get something to 70% and launch. Why? I was in a restaurant here in Oregon, went to this restaurant. This is what we walked into. It looked like a movie set. Everything was perfect. Everything was in place. And I was like, oh my gosh, when you went to get your soda, this is what you had. They didn't even have enough of different types of soda in the soda machine to label it. Okay. And there was only one. I asked him, I said, how long have you guys been open? The guy goes, 3 weeks. And I went, wow. Now, if you go back to the previous picture, he didn't even have a menu up. He had the signs out front and everything. This is what happened. The guy was running a truck, like a food truck. He got so well known for his burgers and everything, he decided to open a brick and mortar institution. Did he do it perfectly? He goes, oh no, we're still building. And he goes, you want to come back and see the kitchen? I said, is the Pope Catholic? Yeah. And he goes, currently you don't have one. I'm like, thank you. I know. Anyway, so I walk back to the kitchen. He shows me around. It's like bare bones. He goes, I'm used to working in a truck. I don't know how to handle all this space. He was packed. It was packed in there the entire time. People knew about him. So talk about launching imperfectly. He's like, you can't get milkshakes, you can't get this, you can't get this. I'm like, well, what do you serve right now? He goes, you can get the 101 burger, one patty, one slice of cheese. You can get the 202 burger, two patties, two slices of cheese. Or you can get the 303 burger, which is three patties, three. You get burgers, you get French fries. This is what we're selling. Sodas are in the machine. I said, how far do you go? He goes, 404. I said, is that where you disappear and you can't find yourself anymore? There's 404 burgers, four pieces of cheese. All right. Had to
Is
share that
there
with you.
is there an ambulance on standby or on retainer?
I know. It's wonderful. So anyway, I just had to share that with you. Look, this is a business owner. He is doing it imperfectly. He is making it happen, and he has customers he cares about. Why? Because he is specific. I do burgers, I do French fries, I do soda, and when I get around to it, I might start offering milkshakes. Be specific. Talk to Nancy Fields. I'll have her contact information in the chat. She will talk to you about how you need to be very, very specific. All right. All right. So there we go. We'll go around the horn and let everybody say what they want to say. But, you know, Matt, you're already off of mute. So you want to give us our 1 minute tech tip today?
Yes, and by the way, I let the toilet seat down today. So
Oh, look at you. Thank you for honoring the women in your life.
yes, all the invisible ones. So and they say, hey, look, you know, I'm like the Poochies. I can be well trained, damn it. So
Yes.
just feed me, I'm yours for life. Force me to starve, I file for divorce. So I'm very cliche. The best way to my heart is through my stomach. So
There you go.
um
404, baby.
okay there, toddler. I will go for it. It's like, why am I baby? Why am I on straight peas and carrots? What do I move to solid foods? You know, I heard girls call me baby. It's like, what am I watching? Like, you know, Blue's Clues or like, you know, something of that nature. So I think pet names are funny, you know, because baby is so overused, and I just say toddler. I moved on in my infancy, or you know.
Okay, well, I'm
So
going to pause you right there. I work with a
okay,
group of Marines. They all call their sweethearts, lovers, girlfriends, and wives baby. They all do that. Why? Because they don't want to spend the time learning their name. That's what I told them.
that's hilarious. Well, I have a more eclectic word. You know,
You?
yes, I have a more eclectic word. I know it is inconceivable, right? So, does anybody know Garfield, like the comic?
Yes.
Okay, if I love a girl, I think she's special. I call her Pookie because Pookie
It was
is
his special little teddy.
yes. So
Okay,
Pookie was Garfield's teddy bear.
right. Got it.
And that's very unique because if you give some it's a different other pet name, make it so it's unique to them, not common to the world, as
Right.
far as I'm concerned. I
Right.
didn't realize I played Dr. Phil today, but lo and behold, I
There,
have.
there you go. So thank you so much for our Hebrew haha assisting us with our dating and romance life. Moving on to
Yes.
what you are a master of, which
Okay.
is tech.
So this is gonna be interesting. Taylor Swift is going after Meta or Facebook for AI infringement. So exactly what I predicted is exactly what is transpiring. Where for those of you who know who Warren G is, you have to regulate, and so that's what's happening here. Is that it's very conceivable very soon there are going to be government laws on dictating what AI can do and what it can't do, and if AI is created and it goes against a copyright or an artist, that provider, even though it's AI and it's supposedly fictional driven, can be held liable. And that's where the accountability of the AI is coming in. So right now, AI is the wild, wild west, and anything really goes. But at some point, if her lawsuit wins, it's going to change the landscape of how you use AI and what what can be responsible for and what not. So again, this is the problem: is that at what point is too much enough? And no government agency has established that yet. The technology is still emerging; it's too new. So just I'm warning you now that going forward, be mindful of when you do create AI, how it could be potentially legalized or hopefully not used against you. So that's just me throwing it out there to you.
Okay,
Um,
thank you very much. I appreciate it very much, Matt. Oh, and we're going to move then on to Nancy Fields today. How are you doing and what's happening in your world?
I'm doing very well. I'm so surprised to hear about Kindle. Excuse me. Um, all I know is that my business is getting more expensive to run because of all these subscriptions. And so it's really deciding what it is that I really need and to make sure that it doesn't automatically renew, because oftentimes I don't get notified. So yeah,
Yep.
trying
And
to keep it all under control.
for
Have it
those
not
of you,
have it not cost too much to run to run a digital business.
right? Exactly. And so what we are seeing is a lot of people like yourself, Nancy. If you need any help with your website, either in its creation, building, or making sure that you have correct SEO, you definitely want to reach out to Nancy Fields. She's the one that works with me and has been helping me get JanineBoland.com back online. By the way, Nancy has done nothing to my website yet. If you look at my website, it's a hot mess because Janine has been doing it. Okay, so don't go to her website and look at her stuff because right now we're on the back end of my business. Okay, all right. So I just wanted to share that with you. Good morning, Grace. Thank you for joining us. How can we help you today? What's happening?
Oh, it's good to be back. I missed y'all last week.
Yeah. You were working on your business. You had your master contact
Yeah.
sheet built out. You were starting to chat with people. How's that going?
It's going good. I made it through all of my contacts on my master contact sheet. So
Bravo. Good job.
now I guess now I'm just reaching out to other people I don't know, like on LinkedIn. And I've had a few calls with writers and other people on LinkedIn that I didn't know before, which has been really fun. Um, but yeah.
Okay. Keep
I
building out your network.
mhm.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you have like any, I don't know, advice for networking to hopefully find people who will need your services?
Uh, for you and where you are with your services
Mhm.
right now, uh, you have to be very, very specific about what you're doing. You came on a little later. Go ahead and watch the beginning of this recording when we were
Okay.
talking about specificity. You've heard me talk about that before anyway. But you want to be very specific about what kind of editing you do. What you do is you narrow yourself down. So far, you're like, I will never be able to make enough money with what I've just said, right? But a woman was able to make quite a business out of how to travel with your Yorkie. That was the name of her book. All right. She had
Wow.
1,800 people on her email list before she ever came to me because it didn't matter that they had a Dalmatian. It didn't matter that they had a Whippet. They thought if she knew how to travel with a Yorkie, itty bitty little dog, she could help them with their dog, right? So you specify down so tight that people say, oh, you have a dog and you travel? Well, I know it's not a Yorkie, but you want to talk to Tammy? Do you see what you mean? You got to be super,
Mhm.
super narrow. So right now you say you edit. Well, I don't know if that's websites and AI can do it for me. And why do I need you? You see, all of that
Mhm.
happens in my head almost subconsciously. Like it has nothing to do with Grace, right?
Mhm.
So what you want to do is narrow it down and say, I edit people's work who are writing their memoir.
Mhm.
And you don't want AI to be playing in that because AI is a champion at taking your 80 years of life and putting it down into a paragraph. That's why you
Mhm.
don't want an AI to edit your stuff, right? That's your thing. So next week or whenever you can come back, when you're done with dinner, because I know you're in the evening, definitely make sure that you have a very specific area. What do you personally want to edit? And I know right now it's like anything is fine, right? But you want to specify so that people know how to refer you. And that is how you network. Okay. Before you start saying, how do I network more? I just wanted you to get out there and get practice talking to people. Now, when they say, so what do you do? I edit memoirs of people over the age of 55. Wow, that's pretty specific. We want you to say something like
Yeah.
that. So come back to us next week with that. All right.
Okay,
All right.
I'll
Cool.
do that.
Awesome. All right. Go ahead, Rich. And Trevor, we'll get you to you next. Go ahead, Rich.
I also found it was helpful to vary that. So maybe one week you're going for that. Another week you might want to say I'm an editor, and this week I'm looking for people who are recovering from some sort of illness and their success story or something like that. Because if you repeat the same message over and over again, people are like, well, I don't know anything about that, so they tune out. But if you hit it a bunch of different ways, all of a sudden you never know how somebody's going to resonate with something you say. Oh, I never thought of that. And all of a sudden, click, click, click. So
Okay.
just food
That's
for thought.
good. Thank you so much, Rich. The biggest thing, Grace, is only mention what you want to do. Do not mention anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Trevor, I know I
Okay,
said
cool.
you next, but I've got to talk to Kathy first. Good morning, Kathy. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm
And
doing good.
and how are you doing with the book? I know you were on the early bird writers this morning, but I wasn't able to chat with you.
Yeah, I have been thinking and stuff, I'm at that one spot again, and it's just I feel like I'm flopping around like a fish sitting on the deck or something.
Right. Okay.
And I was thinking about trying to go and use the Chat GPT to help me get over the certain spots that I'm stuck at,
Right. Because that's when you move out of Clyde's voice. She's writing a book from her dog Clyde's perspective to fill in everybody. So you're struggling to get back into Clyde's voice on certain emotional parts as you're talking about the story. So yeah, definitely go to ChatGPT because you've trained it to talk in Clyde's voice.
Yeah, I just I don't want it to not be me writing it. So I've been struggling with that and stuff. So
Certainly. So the thing that I'll get to you in just a second, Matt.
All right.
So the thing, Kathy, is when you're struggling, all right, people used to do this before AI. I heard of a very successful man. He'd written 15 books. He was a multimillionaire. Okay. And he's one of the few people that I met that was actually an author, and that was his profession. He was able to make enough money as an author. So that's why I think this advice was good. I asked him how he wrote his books. He goes, I would give a 3-day seminar, and he would sell tickets to these 3-day seminars. They would record everything. This was in early 2000 to 2007. He did this. Okay. They would record everything. He had a live audience in front of him. People would ask questions, all that kind of stuff. He would record everything. Then he would send it off to a transcription service. And then they would transcribe it, okay? Because, transcription puppy wasn't around yet. So then after he'd done that, he'd have a ghostwriter rewrite it all for him. Then he would look at it. And that's when he would go line by line and would change everything based on his outline and based on what he had already decided. He already knew what he wanted to say. People would ask questions at the seminar based on all that. So how does this work for you? You know what you want to say. You write all of that into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will rewrite it as far as Clyde. Then you're going to go back line by line because you're going to change word choice, sentence structure, all of that's going to happen. It's going to be you. All right. All that ChatGPT is doing is he's being the ghostwriter. Okay. This is something authors have been doing this from the Three Musketeers and Alex Dumas. He actually wrote after a ghostwriter had written his books after the Three Musketeers. Okay. That's why he was so prolific after that. So we've been using ghostwriters for a very long time. This is nothing new. It's just the medium is new. Does that help?
yeah, it does. I've been struggling with doing this for a while,
Yeah.
I've kind of eased in using it with my sentence structure and run-on sentences and things like that. And And I'm getting more comfortable with using it and still feeling like it's me. So
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and just
Yeah.
because I'm just done. I want my book done. And
Right. You're at that point.
excited. I'm excited to do the next level of things,
Okay. And then Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to give some friendly nerdy advice to Kathy. First of all, I appreciate you barking up the right tree. And yes, I couldn't be nerdy and if I did not say that. But however, I will say this. Take AI with a grain of salt. That's SAWLT in New Jersey Ease. And you want to realize that when you go into AI, even ChatGPT, at least you own that content. If you use another AI, that it may not be yours. So don't rely on ChatGPT to be the gospel. There are so many other variants of AI out there. So I encourage you to have a AI Star Trek moment and boldly go where you haven't gone if you want insight on all the other AIs that may provide different insight than what ChatGPT is providing in your book. Let me know. Let's talk nerdy. I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. All right. And then Rich, was there anything that you had a question on before I move to Trevor? No, okay. Sorry, Trevor. My students I talk to first, and then anybody who's a guest on, I'm always like, hey, great to chat with you. And then Jeff, we always leave for a comedic moment. No pressure. Okay, Trevor, good morning. If you don't mind unmuting.
Oh, no, no worries. I was just gonna, I've been in Grace's shoes so many times, and it's wildly successful when you actually go and meet people. Like, way to go. That is terrifying, I imagine. And I used to be that guy that would run around and get as many cards as I could. And then I realized when I shifted over to my human design proper strategy and authority, I'm the guy that sits in the back. It's very mysterious. People know me and they're like, who is that guy that everybody's coming up to and hugging and giving high fives to and embracing, but he's not going to anybody else. And I realized that that's optimal for me. And everybody has their own unique strategy and way to. Alicia magnetizes, I manifest, I inform, she waits for the invite. And if we all know our sacred geometry of our auric field, it's next level. So if you haven't looked into human design or like some help into that, the quick start, the self-trust quick start guide shows you how to do all that. So you don't need me, so I can still play in my garden. But if you like really, really, really need me, we're Alicia and I are here. So way to go. And that's all I wanted to say. It's way to get out there.
That's
But
really
Trevor,
cool.
you were
Thank you.
communicating. Oh, go ahead, Grace.
No, that I was just gonna say thank you. Also, where can I find that quick start guide?
If you go to selftrustacademy.com, yeah, right. I focus on men, and this is what we're just saying. In niches, there are riches. I specifically last year did the self-trust base camp, and I was focusing men, women. It was like whoever I can help. And the second I switched over to helping fathers who've been estranged from their sons or getting connected, it's like, where were you my whole life? And so while the content is specifically focused on men and their sons and reconnecting, the content you'll find is for anyone and everyone, because women are going to try to go, well, they're gonna be connecting with the information too. So it is general. So just know that it speaks father son, and know it's, if they can't. So just go in there, have some fun.
Yeah,
So.
just because
Thank you.
he's traveling with his Yorkie doesn't mean a Dalmatian can't get access to it too. That's what I was trying to share. So thank you very much for Trevor for like being a case study on that. So he focuses on men and their sons, and the rest of the family says, "Oh, what about me?" Right? It's kind of cool. So, all right, and Jeff, thank you for being so patient and for being the last man standing. How are you this morning? What can we help you with?
I've just been quiet to make sure Rich knew that I was able to hold my filter in a little bit here. By the way, my book on traveling with a Yorkie would be one page with one word, don't. Okay. I don't know if it was the upbringing I had and so forth, but I even left the toilet seat down when I was a bachelor, which is really strange. And I got called on. It's like, why is the toilet seat down? Yeah, I don't know either. Okay. So you've asked about my podcast, and it had a delay, but by this next session next week, it will be up, running, and promotable. I had a little bit of a hiccup, but it's
Okay.
almost solved. It'll be solved by either later this afternoon or by Monday.
That never happens with launches. That never
Yeah.
happens with launches. You
Yeah.
know, you never have technical problems.
It wasn't so much a technical problem as it was I got to get the money gathered together to spend on software.
Yeah, that's part of the issue.
So that's technical. Yeah.
Yes,
You're right.
there you go.
You're right. Let's see. Somebody else said something else. Oh, and I told Grace one other thing about the if you go and find that difficult to stand in the corner and wait for people to come to you, a clown suit and a bullhorn might help.
Put on a red nose like Kathy Hickey does, and some dog ears. That'll get people wondering, what is that all about?
And when did you turn into a Yorkie, and why do you travel so much?
Kind of have a theme going here, don't we?
Exactly.
Matt, we need you. We need your you.
Oh yes, see,
Yeah,
I can do
that's
it.
why I meant by you. He has a you that he runs around with. So that's why when you were talking about pet names, I'm like, oh, yours is you. That's what I
exactly.
mebt. Go ahead, Jeff.
The only other thing on my plate is the software that I've been in development of is in the works, and I know it's working because I marketed a little bit to a few people and they signed up immediately. It's like, okay, this is going to take off. So I'm pretty excited about that because
Bravo.
I want to
That's a
get my
win.
yacht repainted.
It's desktop size.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'll help
That's
you.
about all I got going, really, unless anybody wants to bring something up, because Rich knows I'll talk about anything. I don't.
That's true. So what I would recommend, folks, is if you're stuck and you don't want to talk to ChatGPT because you'd like to turn the corner, meaning you want to be playful, you want to be jovial, you want to have fun with your writing, you want people to have fun on your website, would you please contact Jeff and then offer to pay him something for his time, because he didn't become the funny man by accident. It is a craft. He is a master of his craft, and he is getting back on the stage and helping business owners do the same thing. Your wacky sense of humor, believe it or not, is a wonderful aspect of your business and yourself. Now, your family and friends may not like it, but that's because that's not who it's catered to. It's catered to the world, and this is how you are expressing your divinity, if you will. Our wacky sense of humor is the way we make things lighter, funnier, and a lot more fun to be around. And if people don't understand it or they're not resonating with it, pick a different pond or pick a different stage. Jeff can help you with that. So Jeff, if you put your contact information in and your LinkedIn so people can connect with you on
Sure.
LinkedIn. And Grace, I don't know if you had an opportunity to chat with, thank you, Trevor. Grace, if you've had an opportunity to chat with Jeff, I do not know, but make sure that you do that at some point convenient so that you can find ways to bring about your sense of humor, which when you are in the scholarship you're in, isn't necessarily the best environment for you to express that said humor. So maybe talk about some ways of unfolding some of that, okay? All right. Kathy is perfect at it. Like I said, she puts on a dog nose. She's got some dog ears. And if you walk into her house, which I was lucky enough to be able to do last weekend, she has curtains where she has punched stars in the curtains. So then at night when stuff shines through there, you have stars, even when it's light out. So her entire house is kind of a fun house. So this is how to go about bringing fun into your world. Okay. Hope I didn't out anything we weren't supposed to talk about, Kathy.
Oh, no, that's okay. I love my fun house.
Yes, you have a fun house. Every time you turn around, there's a little something there that's Kathy. And you're like, oh, I've never thought of that. Like she has all these plants everywhere and she's got these little figurines of vegetables going, no, you know, stuff like that. It is a hoot. All right. That's what I mean. Bring that wacky, weird part of yourself that people didn't like. Why? Because it's uncontrollable. It's so core to who you are, it's a little uncontrollable. And people who want to control over you don't appreciate that. Okay. So that's where we want that to happen. Okay. So any questions for today? We have 20 minutes before we have to wrap up.
Rich didn't go. I think Bubala needs to speak.
Yes, our Hebrew ha-has. I saved them for the first and last. Notice they are black and white and they don't even try. One has dark hair, the other has white hair. They are my perfect bookends. So my other Hebrew ha-ha, because I was waiting till after Jeff was finished, is Rich
Yeah,
Fire.
I'm sad. I've got the blues.
Yeah, right? Hey, that's some people's favorite on Inside Out. So there you go. Rich, good morning. What is
Hello.
that behind you?
This is a print shop down in Chinatown, and obviously they specialize in menus.
I don't know. What was the first clue? So think about that. Think about that, people. It's totally in alignment with today. We're talking about your niche. They have nothing but menus on their wall. Do you think you'll go in and get your business card printed from them? Oh, yeah, because the menu has the logo and all the info, right? So just because they're showing and sporting menus, by the way, Rich, I'll pay you your $20 later for being a part of our theme today. There you go. Anyway, what else were you going to say, dear? It's in Chinatown. What were you doing down in Chinatown?
Everywhere. One of my favorite things to do when I have free time is to just wander. New York is it's a museum unto itself. You don't have to go into a place to see art or to see things that are really cool. I think all of New York is just one big, major kick-ass museum. And so what am I doing in Chinatown? The same thing I'd be doing in the West Village, in the East Village, down by the financial district, up in Harlem, wandering around, taking pictures, seeing what's cool. And lately, what I've been doing while I've been wandering around, and this is really cool, is I've been prop shopping for my characters. So for those of
Nice.
you who don't know, I'm putting together a marketing piece for my book. It took me a long time to come up with the marketing aspect of this because I'm not a marketer. And it took me a while to give myself permission that was okay. So once I came up with my marketing plan, now it's like it's just starting to fall into place. So I'm prop shopping for my characters.
So
I've got Mrs. Mandelbaum's eyeglasses.
good.
I'm searching for Maury's cap. I've got a lot of the costume jewelry that I'm just amassing. I've got press-on fake fingernails for, some of the other characters. So I'm having a good time.
I would appreciate some assistance from you on something. And
Yeah.
that is, would you please write this down as part of your blog on your website? This whole process is unique. And every day you're wandering around prop shopping and you may or may not find what you're looking for, but you're going to find something. And bring us on your journey. See, this is where creatives sometimes forget people are very interested in your journey. And I don't care how you do it. You can do it verbally, like have a picture up and just have an audio file, like talk. All right. And then, oh my gosh, Otter will transcribe it for you, right? You don't have to be perfect at it. It's just the journey of creativity is just as important as the end product. Because people are like, where do you get your ideas from? Well, that's a stupid question that you ask a creative. They don't know, right? It comes from the void. There's a reason they call it the void, because it comes from a place deep within ourselves that's black and we have no label for it, right? It just happens. So, what we do,
I
go
walked
ahead.
into one costume store and just gathering ideas and stuff like that. And I saw something that I never would have considered, stopped me in my tracks. I burst out laughing, and that's going to be one of the new characters.
There you go,
So,
right?
yeah, it's really an interesting journey. Thank you for saying that. And I never really thought about that.
I'm not trying to add more onto your plate. You're
No,
already a
no,
busy
no, 'cause
guy,
I'm already
but
there. I'm already doing this, so I can just
why
speak
not?
into a microphone while I'm out and about. That's not a big deal.
And then,
I send myself voice messages, or I send voice memos all the time when I think of
Mhm.
stuff and that kind of thing. I write it down, or voice memo
Mhm.
it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have
And
people
that's,
talking to me in my head all the time.
hey,
sure.
if you're an author or a creative, we are used to talking to the community of creatives in our head, right? We have a whole collection of people. So
Mine are
we-
usually in foreign languages, but
That you do or do not understand.
okay. So please start doing that. Why? Because you're doing really interesting stuff, but I don't know how to tap into that with you.
Hmm.
All right. And as somebody who cares about you, I want to learn more about what you're doing now. And whatever you do, don't put it on social media,
No,
right?
I won't put any of this up until
Put,
it's done, until the work, the piece is out, till the marketing is out there.
okay, you missed the point.
No, I don't, because I don't want people to steal my idea.
Nobody's going to steal your idea. It's yours. That is a speed bump. That's one of the dragons a creative has to walk through. Part of the beauty of doing something in the raw is that it's time and date stamped, honey. Somebody can take your idea now, right? But if you time and date stamp your process, that's what wins court cases. It's a dragon. It's one of the dragons. Slay it at your own time, deal with it in your own way. But that is a dragon. And that is why a lot of people resist the form of marketing that I talk to them about, which is do it according to your own humor. You do it according to your own style because you want to attract those type of people. And what do? You bring them along for your ride. You bring them along, right? Because if you're thinking of it and doing it, then it's solely yours. Nobody can take that from you. They can try, but it will be a false facsimile. And consider it a compliment. All right. So if people want to steal something, they will steal it. The thing is don't let fear. Over and over again in many sacred texts, they talk about that. I think in the Bible, no offense to my Jewish people, you guys had the book first, but we called it Old and New. It's just we got a new character. You're gonna love him. He rose after 3 days. He was a great guy. But in that particular book, I think it's under. They always say it's 365, but that's incorrect. It's over 71 or 72, where they say, "Do not fear" or "Fear not." It's like being beaten into your head. Fear not, because when you start fearing, when you have fear, you block the creative flow, which is spirit talking to you through the void, or your higher self, or your subconscious,
Got it.
whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Janine, is
Thank
it
you. I
is it
needed to
like
hear that.
is it like Blue Oyster Cult where you don't fear the Reaper?
Exactly. You don't want to fear Grandfather of the West, as the Native Americans say. He's the gift giver. You don't want to fear Hades. That's where all the cool stuff is hidden, is underneath the ground. That's where the wealth is the stuff that you don't allow to see the light of day. Ba-boom. Thank you. All right. So, with that being said,
And this is why I show up on a regular basis to this. Seriously.
you
I mean,
have
look at the exchange of information, ideas, and just support that we've experienced since 9 o'clock. I'm in the East Coast, so
right there. You go, Grace. She's having dinner, and Nancy. She's in her own freaking time zone in Arizona. Okay. Anything else people want to bring up? Go ahead, Jeff. I can see you're itching.
I'm in Arizona. I'm not in my own time zone. I'm in my own people zone.
Right, it's true.
you're in Nancy's time zone.
Yeah,
Yep.
we don't change time zones, which is awesome.
Yeah,
So,
and that's why you both have the blues.
I had something that I read it many years ago, the War of Art, and it was reinforced to me yesterday when I was speaking with somebody, and they said, well, Stephen Pressfield said, when you get an idea, write it down immediately because those guys don't hang around the basement too long. And then so the person I was speaking to said whenever he goes out for a run now, he takes a recorder because as he like works through his process, just makes a note of it. And it is true. But I also wanted to share, I had an interesting day yesterday. I went to Phoenix and in a medical service van with my husband, who had to see a physician, and he can't transfer yet by himself, but nonetheless, this fellow, second time he drove us, and I noticed he had all these books. He's like really, these tomes lined up one another. And so I said, gee, are you a student, Adam? He says, oh, I love to learn. And so then, but as we were ending the trip, so then he starts to talk about Greece, and he's been studying these books on Greece and Greek culture and history. And so, so I said, so we just started talking. I said, what was the thing that you had no idea that you were going to discover when you started to read these books? And he's going on, and he's just really a scholar on this. It was so fascinating. And it also made me think, kind of a segue. My current website is under, it's not, I am working on the headlines, and I met with some copywriters last week who tore me a new one and said, people don't want to know what you do. And so I thought, isn't this interesting? Because people really like to talk about themselves, and you learn more by just asking a question and just listening. And that's one thing also my SEO trainer has been telling me, listen, 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 be a good listener. Just find out what it is that people do and how they communicate. So,
What'd
And
you
what
say?
was your-
I'm sorry, were you speaking? What was that?
And so Nancy, other than these wonderful people, what did you learn
what did
from
I
that?
learn? Well, the thing is, when you go to a website, you want to know what someone can do for you. So you do, in fact, want to know what they do.
Correct. Those
you get involved
copywriters,
with copywriters, and they like, so.
right? They do not build websites. Copywriters do not build websites. They do not handle SEO. Do not take advice from people who are not in your industry unless it resonates. Okay? So that's why I always ask when people are giving me advice about how to write a book, I go, oh, how many books have you written? You'll be amazed how many people give you advice and they've never done the job. Excuse me, this is not what we want. Same thing with poor Grace. When she was getting advice from people, I'm like, do they make money at what they're doing? Are you talking to people who network, who have income reliant on their skills of networking? Are they successful? Are they successfully networking? You start really digging into that, and you find out the advice this person is giving me, they're not even making a living at it, right? So I'm like, excuse me, no, I'm not going to take that advice. I've become very hard-nosed. So good job, Nancy, at catching on to that very good lesson, which is copywriters are great at what? Writing copy. Well, writing copy for what? Menus? Right? It depends on what they're doing, right? So they tore into you. Nobody wants to know what you do. I beg to differ. When I go to Nancy's website, I want to know, what type of websites have you already worked on? What is your area of specialty? Do I fit the profile of your ideal client? But yeah, I want to know these things as a customer. Yeah. Thank you for not listening to them. Okay. We have 9 minutes. Anything else people wish to share? Or
I want to know what problem they solve, not just what they can do. Can they solve sometimes you don't know the problem you have until it's pointed out too.
can you give us an
I
example?
know that was really wild, wasn't it? That was really
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So can you give us an example of a problem you had and you went to a website and you couldn't find it? Or the other way, you found it?
Kind of, but it has more to do with what Rich was looking at. The software that I've got, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I've seen something like that," and I know they haven't, because I'm the only one that has ever seen what I created, because I created it. And I was worried about people taking the information from the spreadsheet that it started with. And I realized how much work I put into it. And are people really going to try and put that much work to duplicate something and call it their own? People generally tend to be toward the lazy and stupid side, especially if they can't create something themselves. They'd rather steal it. It's like, okay, then not a whole lot of initiative in that. And so I just look at it like, if you're creating something, create it, but make sure you, I mean, as for like the notes, I take notes all the time on something that strikes me as funny. Keep doing that and building, and there's no way somebody can keep up with you. They just can't.
And you look back, and all I can say is thank you very much, Jeff, because that's the same advice Jerry Seinfeld gives. He's like, you have to be methodical, you have to be structured, and you have to stay after your craft. So if you're a writer, become a wordsmith. If you're a comedian, you better get good at telling knock-knock jokes.
No,
That's
there
where.
once was a man from Nantucket. Not that
Excellent.
much rhymes with Tucket.
No, it's a little bit of a challenge.
I got to tell you something. I met that guy. Not like it's all cracked up to be. All right.
Go
The
ahead, Matt.
Nantucket guy or Seinfeld?
All right, hang on. Matt
Nantucket.
has his hand up. We're going to call on Matt now, gentlemen.
two.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Matt.
It's almost like T-Mobile, permission to speak freely. By the way, I had a great conversation with Nancy. She's like definitely the Yoda of SEO. So she knows what she's talking about. So if you need help there, giving her a plug here. Interesting insight, Jeff. Let me have like a CNC Music Factory moment when things make you go, So you say you have very unique ideas that nobody else has done, correct? Well, guess what? There's 7 billion people in this world. It's conceivable that somebody has done what you've done, but you never met them yet.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely true.
Okay, we can get back into the consciousness of the collective here if you really want to. We can talk about Leibniz and we can talk about Newton. Both created calculus at the same time. Why do we study calculus? I'm sorry, I'm going to geek out here on you guys for a minute because I'm very passionate about this topic. Why do we learn the harder one, which is Newton? Because Newton was so worried that people were going to take it and he wouldn't be as fast a mathematician. He taught derivative calculus to everyone and he saved integral calculus for himself so he could solve the problems faster than anyone else. What did Leibniz do? Leibniz taught everybody integral calculus. Why do we not learn integral calculus first in our Western society? Because Leibniz was German. Newton was British.
Lovely. Question for you, Janine. Was Newton's first name Fig?
Thank you for lightening it up. Yeah, thank you so much. So I just wanted to share with you that just because we do something a certain way and because two people come up with the same idea at the same time, and that happens a lot, where we have 7 billion people on the planet, blah, blah, blah. But by golly, don't you dare keep holding your creative process to yourself. Nobody is going to do it the way you do it, and they're not going to have the same results. Even with two people who invent something, some of the inventors continue going on and inventing, and it's something else that they get famous for, even though the second person is the one that gets famous for being able to build a car using French fry oil. We had 4 different inventors come up with that at the same time because they were trying to, from the oil crisis in the 70s. So anyway, that stuff happens. But what you're passionate about is what you're going to lead your life with. And that's what this comes down to. Your version of your life is unique. And people say, oh, but when everyone's special, no one's special. To which I yell, BS. You are cherished whether you know it or not. So we've got 3 minutes. Anybody?
I'm unique just like everybody else.
Right?
This is why Mozart sat down at the piano and said, I'm going to make this ridiculously hard to play.
Well, he had Salieri, right? That was sitting there trying to imitate him. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay. So this is the take-home message. I want you to know that you are right. Okay? you are right. Whatever it is that you're doing in your life that somebody is pushing hard against you on, I want you to examine, where are they coming from? Do they have your highest and best good? Are they truly saying, I'm trying to keep you from stubbing your toe? I'm trying to keep you from falling. I'm trying to keep you in a good space. I've walked this path before. I know what I'm talking about regarding this. Or are they just trying to control you? Okay. So you kind of have to differentiate that. But I want you to know that you're right. Start trusting yourself. I'm running into people over and over again, especially creative people like you guys. Every single one of you is a creative, whether you know it or not. And what I'm running into is they have lost the connection with their trusting yourself. So I want you, in whatever way this looks right for you, to really focus on trusting yourself. Trust your own instincts. Jeff, trust your instincts on getting on that stage. Rich, trust your instincts on this is exciting stuff for people to learn about your book. It's part of the marketing, is you talking about this, finding props for your characters, okay? Kathy, put the red nose on, put on the ears, and start talking to ChatGPT, all right? Grace, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You got enough people doing that. And Nancy, you already know where you're rocking and rolling. Trevor, we will have a conversation later about your legal document, because that needs to be written where human beings can understand it, okay?
Just told me my instincts are saying what to do. So I look forward to chatting with that.
Yeah. So speaking of the legal document, you want to write it in a way that a judge can understand it. Love you. Okay. Last but not
Law
least,
versus legal. We'll talk.
yes, sacred law. I am Crow. I know what the hell I'm talking about, and I'm talking about your
I
sons.
just want to
Therefore-
see if you've had experience before. I heard from a wise woman. You got to check to see how much experience.
And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
I think Janine is winging it.
Thank you, Matt. All right, last little bit. Remember that you are cherished, okay? I love coming to Open Friday Coffee and seeing your faces. I am so grateful you took time out of your day to be with me. And I will leave you with one last thought, and that is, you are loved more than you understand, and that's okay. Just keep seeking the love and do not fear. See you next week. Bye now.